My friends, trust is the foundation of every relationship between people and between nations. It cannot be bought. It cannot be forced. It must be earned. And today we confront a reality that may surprise many around the world. Out of all the great powers, out of all the global players, India, a rising force, a proud democracy, has placed its trust in only one country. The question is, why? And what does it mean for the future of our world? My friends, let us begin with something that lies at the very heart of human connection, the power of trust. Nations, just like people, cannot survive in isolation. They reach out, they form bonds, and they build alliances not merely on the strength of armies or the size of economies, but on something far more fragile and far more valuable, the belief that the other side will keep their word. Trust is not ink on paper. Trust is not a handshake in front of cameras. Trust is the quiet assurance that when the storms arrive, someone will still be there standing beside you. And when we look at the great story of international politics, we see again and again that trust has determined the course of history. Wars have been won not just by military might, but by allies who truly believed in one another. Peace has been preserved not by the absence of conflict, but by partnerships grounded in trust, where both sides understood that their destinies were linked. Now, in today's world, trust has become even more rare, and therefore even more precious. We live in an era of shifting alliances, of sudden deals, of promises made in the morning and broken by the evening. Nations proclaim friendship, but behind closed doors they question loyalty. In such a world, it is no small matter when a country like India, with its vast history, its growing influence, and its undeniable future, chooses to place its trust in only one nation above all others. That choice tells us more about the meaning of trust than any policy paper or summit declaration ever could. Because what is trust really? Trust is the bridge that connects the past with the future. It is built slowly, brick by brick, over decades. It is tested by fire in times of hardship and crisis. And when that bridge holds, when it does not collapse under pressure, then and only then does trust become real. India, like any nation, has known betrayal. It has known moments when promises were broken, when partners looked the other way. And yet, out of all the options, out of all the suitors who have courted its friendship, it has chosen to believe in one. That is not coincidence. That is the result of consistent behavior, consistent respect, and consistent alignment of values. Think about this. In the marketplace of global politics, every major power tries to present itself as reliable, as worthy of India's confidence. They offer trade deals, defense technology, diplomatic support. But trust cannot be purchased like a product. It must be proven over and over again. And while many nations have faltered, one has shown that it will not abandon India when the stakes are high. That is why trust matters more than resources, more than weapons, more than promises. Because when everything else fades, when the slogans are gone and the cameras move on, trust is the only currency that still holds its value. This is not just about governments. It is also about people. The citizens of one nation looking across oceans and believing that another nation shares their dreams, respects their culture, and will honor their sovereignty. That is a profound connection. It is not forged in a single meeting, but in generations of understanding. And when a country as large, as diverse, and as determined as India places its trust so deeply, the world should pay attention. For it tells us something not only about the trusted partner, but about the kind of future India wants to build. So as we reflect on this, let us remember power can intimidate, money can persuade, but only trust can endure. And in the end, it is trust that gives meaning to alliances, trust that holds the world together when everything else falls apart. Because trust, once earned, is stronger than any treaty and more powerful than any weapon. You said expand now. Let's talk about why India chooses only one partner to trust above all others. This choice did not emerge suddenly, nor was it shaped by a single moment in time. It has been written slowly, carefully, in the story of shared experiences. For India, trust is not about convenience, it is about consistency. And when you look closely, you see that the decision reflects more than strategy. It reflects a belief in reliability, a faith that when India calls, there will always be an answer. The truth is, India has options. Great nations from every corner of the world have extended their hands. Some have offered lucrative trade agreements, others have promised defense support, and many have spoken fine words of partnership. But India has not been fooled by appearances, because history has taught it that words can be empty, that deals can vanish, and that promises can turn to dust when the pressure rises. India's trust, therefore, has not been given lightly. It has been earned through endurance, through proven loyalty, through a pattern of respect that has stood the test of time. We must understand that India's choice is not about who offers the most money or who can deliver the newest technology. It is about who has demonstrated unwavering respect for India's sovereignty, who has treated India not as a pawn on a chessboard, but as an equal at the table. When you look at the global stage, too many powers have seen India as a prize to be won, as a tool to be used in their larger competition. But trust cannot grow in the soil of exploitation. Trust requires mutual recognition. It requires that one nation look at another and see not a means to an end, but a partner whose dignity matters. And this is where the difference lies. The one country that India truly trusts has been there not only in moments of triumph, but also in moments of trial, in times of natural disasters, in times of conflict, in times when the world seemed to turn its back. That country stood firm. It did not simply offer aid or make grand declarations. It showed up. It was present when it mattered most. And presence, my friends, is the foundation of trust. We also see that this trust is reinforced by values. India, as the world's largest democracy, values freedom, sovereignty, and the right of people to choose their own path. These are not small ideals. They are the very essence of its identity. And so, India has naturally gravitated toward a partner that reflects those same ideals. That alignment of values creates not just cooperation, but genuine understanding. It's what transforms a relationship from transactional to transformational. Consider how India approaches the world. It is cautious, careful, deliberate. It remembers its past, and it knows that misplaced trust can carry devastating consequences. So when India chooses, it does so with the weight of history on its shoulders. And yet, despite all the pressures, despite all the competing offers, India has placed its trust in one nation. That tells us everything we need to know. Because trust, once given by India, is not a passing sentiment. It is a strategic and moral decision, one that reshapes its foreign policy and signals its vision of the future. This trust is not about weakness. It is not about dependence. It is about confidence, confidence that in a world filled with uncertainty, one relationship will remain steady, confidence that beyond politics and beyond changing governments, the bond will hold. And when India invests that level of trust, it is not only protecting its present, it is defining its future. So when the world asks, why does India choose only one partner? The answer is simple. Because only one has proven worthy. Only one has respected India's independence, shown up in its darkest hours, and shared in its highest aspirations. Only one has turned promises into practice and commitments into reality. And in the end, trust always finds its home in those who earn it. When we look at the world today, we see how one decision, one alliance, can ripple far beyond the borders of the nations directly involved. And when a country as large and influential as India places its trust in one partner, the consequences are not confined to two capitals. They are felt across continents. This choice reshapes trade routes, redefines security partnerships, and shifts the moral balance of power in ways that the world cannot ignore. Think about it. India is not just another country. It is home to more than 1 billion people. It is an economy rising at a speed that few could have imagined a generation ago. It is a democracy that has endured, expanded, and grown more confident with time. So when India leans in one direction, when it says to the world, "Here is where our trust lies," it sends a signal louder than any speech or press release. It tells every other nation where stability can be found, where opportunity will grow, and where the future is being shaped. The impact of this trust is first felt in trade. Businesses and investors are not blind to politics. They follow the trail of confidence. If India trusts one nation above all others, commerce will naturally flow along that line of trust. Markets will expand, jobs will be created, and industries will flourish not just in one country, but in both. This kind of trust-based partnership creates a foundation strong enough to withstand the fluctuations of global economics. It reassures people that even in times of global recession, even when uncertainty shakes other regions, here lies a relationship that will endure, but it does not stop at trade. Security, too, is profoundly shaped by this choice. In a world where threats do not respect borders, where terrorism, cyber warfare, and new challenges can destabilize entire regions, trust becomes a shield. For India to say, "We will stand with this one partner," means that when danger emerges, it knows who will stand with it. That assurance does not just protect India, it stabilizes the region and, by extension, the world. Because when two great nations coordinate, others take notice, potential aggressors hesitate, peace gains a stronger foothold, and there is the matter of values. India's trust carries with it a moral weight. By choosing one partner, it is not only saying, "We believe you are reliable." It is also saying, "We believe you represent something worth aligning with." That has a powerful ripple effect. Smaller nations, uncertain about which direction to lean, watch India's choice carefully. They see not only power, but principle. They see that trust is not placed in the highest bidder or the loudest voice, but in the partner who has stood firm, respected sovereignty, and upheld freedom. In this way, India's trust becomes a guiding light for others. We should not underestimate how deeply this resonates. In an era of shifting loyalties, when alliances are tested every day, a steadfast partnership between India and one trusted nation restores faith in the idea that stability is possible. That trust encourages other democracies, reassures other partners, and challenges those who would seek to divide the world with fear or domination. This choice also carries an unspoken message about the future. India is a nation that is not just rising, it is destined to play a defining role in shaping the 21st century. Its voice will matter on climate change, on technology, on security, on trade. And so when it signals trust in one partner, it is essentially saying, we want to walk into the future together. That kind of signal cannot be ignored because it is more than strategy, it is vision. And so the global impact of India's choice is profound. It strengthens economies, secures peace, and elevates values that all people cherish. It reminds us that in the end, trust is not just about what one nation does for another. It is about what two nations standing together can do for the world. Because when India trusts, the world listens. So in the end, what does all of this teach us? It teaches us that trust is not a luxury in international affairs, it is the foundation. It shows us that India, a nation of extraordinary history and even greater promise, does not scatter its trust recklessly across the globe. It chooses carefully It remembers who stood by its side, and it invests its faith in those who have proven worthy. And when India makes that choice, it doesn't just shape its own destiny, it shapes the destiny of the world, because alliances built on power alone may last a season. Partnerships rooted in profit may last a decade, but relationships built on trust, those can last generations. And that is why India's decision to trust only one country matters so deeply. It is not only about two nations, it is about the message it sends to the world that integrity matters, that consistency matters, and that in a time of uncertainty, trust is still the most powerful currency of all. And if we listen closely, we hear India's voice, steady and clear, reminding us of this truth that in the face of shifting winds, it is trust that anchors us. And in the story of nations, as in the story of people, trust is the bond that carries us forward.